Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between Dignitas Select versus Team Liquid's Liquid Sheth here on Shattered Temple. Now, first thing I wanted to say that this was taken from the Battle.net Invitational. This is, I believe, the finals of the Battle.net Invitational, and this is set 1. If necessary, set 2 will also be played. I know the games have already been posted up by some other casters, and you can find it also on the Battle.net website as well, but I've always found it a little bit difficult to navigate to and try to find all the necessary information. Now, we see Select spawning as the yellow Terran player at the 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Sheth spawning here as the blue Zerg. Yeah, and I believe I can barely hear. Let me turn up the game sounds just a little bit for you guys. Yeah, so anyways, getting back into the game. So Sheth, yeah, is the blue Zerg. And if you didn't know, there is going to be a little bit of a spoiler alert if you're going to watch all the games, but I'm only going to be casting the finals, so mute me for 10 seconds already. Sheth has already lost to Select once in a best-of-3 series, so Sheth was able to battle his way back from the loser's bracket and then now make it back into the finals. So essentially what needs to happen is that Sheth needs to win 2 best-of-3 series in order to win. The Select has 2 chances to win 1 best-of-3 series and take the lead. We can now see an Overlord now making its way across the map, and also a drone doing an ally scout here on Shadow Temple. One of the things you have to remember, this is the Battle.net version of the map. Meaning that you can have ally spawns, but in this particular instance it will be full cross spawns here on Shadow Temple as the drone now makes its way in. An SCV also going to be doing its scouting as well, and we'll see what strategy we're going to have open up from Select is going for that standard gas. We are getting a barracks here. We may be getting a supply depot here to finish off this wall in and upgrade to an orbital command. Simply wait for it there. You can see the SCV getting ready, getting in position, as now this one SCV going to be doing a little bit of scouting and now will scout out this hatchery. Supply depot already now being built. It looks like a Marine will be able to make his way down and shoot down this drone in just a moment. Now getting some damage onto the drone, but the drone should be able to pull back with no problem whatsoever, down to 17 hit points. But the drone does move slightly faster as we are now going into a spawning pool and an extractor. So spawning pool plus extractor here, as we now see a Marine making his way into the Zelnaga tower here in the center portion of the map. An SCV will be backing off, knowing that it cannot deal enough damage, but we are going into that factory that I mentioned earlier. Now, are we going to be getting up a second gas is the key question here by Select, or is he perhaps going to be going for the reactor? Yes, it is going to be a reactor. He does have 2 Marines now adding on this factory. He's going to perhaps swap this here, and I believe this will end up being the Slayer's S version of this opening. After the factory swaps, we should perhaps be seeing a command center as well. So sitting at 21/27, gonna go ahead and swap it, grab a command center down over here. So he's gonna expand into a double Hellions. There's that command center already, as we can see that Sheth already has his hatchery up and running. Now, Sheth very much in the know of the current metagame, building the Roach Warren here, preventing any Hellions from really driving along the backside, and also getting Roaches. Roaches are the key unit that you need in order to shut down those Blue Flame Hellions. What we're most likely going to see is a Tech Lab now being added on by Select over here. As soon as the Tech Lab is added on, the Hellions will pop out, and then you will have another swap of the Hellions here with this barracks. These Hellions are going to try to put down some harassment and make sure that these creep tumors do not spread. These Hellions, however, are not going to really be able to deal that much damage. Oh, it looks like he's going for 4 sets of Hellions, or 4 Hellions in total. As you can now see, this Zergling going to get quickly toasted. Down it goes, and now these Hellions are now making their way across the field. We are going to get a spawn over here. Those Roaches will be coming in just a moment. Will those Hellions try to make their way up the ramp? It looks like they are going to make their way up the ramp, but the Roaches are just going to simply come down here and start getting damage onto these Hellions. The Hellions are going to take a lot of damage there. 1 Hellion already down, and Select a little bit sloppy here, and now he's going to end up losing another Hellion here, and this is not looking good at all. That Hellion pretty much going to get destroyed, and now Sheth is taking a very early lead. For all you Zerg players who do not know how to deal with that Blue Flame Hellion, this is how you do so, as you now see Select transitioning into, I believe, a Mass Marine Marauder. getting stim pack, and we may see a reactor here for a starport as well. And now Select is going to be on the defensive. He definitely needs to get a Marauder into that bunker as quickly as possible. The Marauder should jump inside that bunker. Marine should be jumping inside there as well, as we are now going to be getting 6 roaches on the front door. Those 6 roaches, will enough damage be dealt is the key question. The Marauder does have a range of 7, able to get some damage onto that roach. There is an Overlord here though, so that Overlord can position itself right here and then start shooting at this one particular supply depot. The supply depot would take up a lot of damage, as there are now Hellions in the center portion of the map. You can now see a quick tech change. We are going into siege tech with Marine and Marauders, mainly Marines though, as we are now getting finally a bunker on the low ground. As these Hellions are deciding to back off, these roaches knew that they could not stay around for very long. But Sheth sitting on a 70 food or 69 food versus 49, a 20 food advantage, which may turn into an even larger food advantage if these Hellions do get destroyed. Taking a look over here, an Overlord is shot down there, so taken out of the sky. Siege tank now perhaps going to position itself here, and it needs to go into siege mode in order to protect this front door. It doesn't look like these roaches will be pushing, but Sheth pretty much has a license to drone. He knows that his opponent is in a very, very defensive posture, and he knows that Select cannot really push out anytime soon. So it looks like Sheth is going to be able to carry his economic advantage and map control into the mid game by taking these yellow mineral expansions. Now, we'll see what exactly Sheth tries to go for in tier 2. Most likely, or I can predict with beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we will be getting the Glio reconstitution. It looks like it is going to be Banelings, and now an evolution chamber as well. I was going to imagine perhaps either Mutalis, or Infestors, as the Zerglings and Roaches still wandering about. And still surprised that there is no creep tumor in between these two bases, though, as you can see now a creep tumor now spreading its way across the map. So these creep tumors now about halfway or 3/4 of the way to the center portion of the map here. A little bit more, and it will be able to continue to push in just a moment, as you see Zerglings positioning themselves perhaps to try to spot any medevac drops. The Hellions are going to see that there is this hatchery here, and Sheth now getting up on expansions. Select only now finally getting some SCVs, and now some mules down over here, sitting on 44 SCVs compared to 43 drones. Army compositions much larger by Sheth. A little surprised that Sheth actually has such a large army as opposed to more and more drones. He could definitely use those additional drones. And it looks like he's spending a lot more time building into his army as opposed to trying to power drone. And he also doesn't have a macro hatch. There, as I say that, he's now getting 8 drones, so he is going to get a stronger economy in just a moment. These Hellions still do not have that blue flame tech. But those Zerglings are going to be perhaps going to try to surround there, as Marines are now up on the high ground and able to get some damage in there. Roaches now pushing their way over. One Hellion going to get destroyed. It looks like now a nice hot pickup there by Select. And now pulling back with those Marines once more. It looks like we have a lot of Overlords in position, so drops are going to be very difficult. Zerglings and Roaches, both sides continuing to put pressure, and still no Spire, as Select is now going to continue to move around with these with this one medevac, and now shut down Overlord after Overlord. One Overlord now down, another Overlord going to get destroyed here, so Sheth now losing a lot of Overlords here. This may be a bit of a problem, as the Zerglings now trying to surround. Will it be enough? No, it's not going to be enough. There is a Queen in position, but now the Marines are dropping in here as well. The Marines are trying to stim their way in. A Queen now getting some damage, and now it looks as though this medevac will be forced to pull away. Another Overlord going to get shot out of the sky, as Select moving around with this one medevac, just shutting down Overlords time and time again. But we are transitioning into that Spire, so these medevacs are not going to be able to freely roam and patrol any longer. Roaches are now destroying these sets of destructible rocks. There is a Queen. That Queen is now attempting to shut down this one medevac. The medevac, no, the Queen now deciding to pull back. The Marines are now continuing to give chase. So Sheth is really now losing his advantage in the mid game here. Pretty much all by this one medevac. This medevac has done a lot more damage than I would have expected. These rocks about 500 hit points, and they will get taken down in just a moment. Select taking this time to heal up all of those Marines, as we now see a lot more Zerglings off over here as well. And now Select really just pushing his army advantage, and may be able to continue to push in just a moment, as we are now upgrading this command center to a planetary fortress at the gold mineral patches. Zergling's now getting just completely eaten up over here. Level 1 armor upgrades, and we are now transitioning into Mutalisk. Things are not looking good for Sheth. Sheth is a bit behind. He does have a lot of harvesters, but an engagement may be taking place. Select, I don't know if he knows that he has such a large army advantage at this point. About 1,000 or about 800 total resources, as there are a lot of siege tanks, and now finally a sensor tower being added. We have 3 medevacs in the air. We are getting some marines. No tech to tier 3. That means that there are not going to be any broodlords or ultralists, as the marines simply stimming in, trying to clear up these creep tumors. The banelings do move very, very fast on creep, but it doesn't matter, as that creep is just going to slowly recede. Mutalisk now looking to get some damage onto this planetary fortress. It doesn't look like it will be successful at all. There are missile turrets positioned in the right location, so Sheth gonna have very, very limited success with any of these Mutalisks. But we can see that Sheth is now getting very close to 200 food, and he is also sitting on a larger bank of minerals, as now the missile turrets completely shutting down one of those Mutalisks, now finally backing off. Perhaps gonna shut down a free Marauder over here. Down it goes, and now gonna go after some of these supply depots and deal even more damage. Meanwhile, in the center portion of the map, we are getting an engagement here. The Marines and the Marauders trying to push in. Another round of Spawn Larva could be coming in. Sheth does have a larger army. Banelings are trying to make their way in as well. The Roaches continuing to push. Banelings, Roaches now simply pushing in, trying to get within that 0 range, and now a medevac drop may be happening all at the same time. Zerglings and Mutalisks trying to press into that target. Zergling's going to finish off these siege tanks, but the siege tank line is so deep. Select going to lose a lot of these siege tanks, but a drop now happening in the main base, at a Queen with a Spine Crawler may be able to finish this off. The Queen now engaging, now going to shut down even more of these units, as the Marines are now pushing into the center portion. All of these units are being forced to pull back, as a new fresh wave of Marines and tanks now coming in. And now Select may simply just attack, move with the rest of his army. I do not believe that Sheth has enough to fight this army back, and now I believe Select should be receiving the GG, as there's not much that Sheth can really do. Banelings now rolling their way in. Gonna finish off a lot of Marines though, so very, very nice play. Select gonna pick up this medevac, perhaps drop it back once more. Banelings trying to find their target. There's that siege tank getting in a lot more damage, finishing off a lot of those units. 2 siege tanks continue to finish off the rest of these Roaches, as another Roach does get destroyed. Marines have been able to clean up all of the drones here, and Sheth is, definitely in trouble. Now pretty much down to 2 bases compared to the 3 bases of Select, as the units are continuing to push their way in, and there is the GG. So Select is now 1 win away from being your North American BlizzCon Invitational winner. Stay tuned for Game 2 in the series between Dignitas, Select, and Liquid Sheth. I'm not quite sure where Game 2 takes place, but yes, there is Day 9. So yes, Day 9 was one of the people, or was the original caster. Shout out to Sean. Just a great guy, one of the hardest working guys in esports. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.